Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the December 21st edition of your NAACP Speaks. I am Kaleem Shabazz, president of the Lang City branch of the NAACP, joined as always with my award-winning and history-making co-host Yolanda Melville Esquire, dubbed Queen of Radio by Brother Alexander Bland. We salute our WHA founder and president, Elder William Hawks, as we do every week, and our excellent studio engineers, Kristen and Super Steph, who keep us up and running. As we have been reporting for too long, it's our sad duty to mourn and uplift the over 800,000 victims of COVID-19 across the country and counting. And in New Jersey, over 28,000 New Jersey residents who have died from COVID-19. And we mourn each and every loss, and we pray for the strength of the families of the loved ones who have passed away. And unfortunately, now we are looking at the Omicron variant, which is spreading throughout the country and throughout the state. And we just encourage people, as we've been doing, to please get vaccinated. If you've been vaccinated with your first shot and for some reason you haven't went back and gotten your second vaccination, please do that. And if you've been vaccinated with your second vaccination and your time has elapsed for your booster, please get your booster. And also, as Alex has said before, and Dr. Cupanini has said in previous broadcasts, please get your flu shot. Please get your flu shot. We note with pleasure that Acting Attorney General Andrew Bruck, who's been our guest several times on the radio program, has moved to implement his priorities. He talked about racial justice. He issued directives to the 17 departments that are under the Attorney General's office about making strides towards racial justice. And he sent us an abstract of what he has done, the initiatives that he's done. He told us he was working on gun violence, and he gave us an update on that, and equity in the criminal justice system, and he's working on all that. So we want to salute Acting Attorney General Bruck, and also our good friend Brent Whittle, who is a senior counsel and a director of community engagement. Yolanda, Andrew Bruck, Acting Attorney General, in the short time that he has been acting, has visited all 21 counties in New Jersey. And I think he needs to be saluted just for doing that in that short time, and we appreciate him. He has shown that he understands what South Jersey is. He understands the concerns that we have, and he's been here several times. And just for the record, since this is the next to the last show in December, during the League of Municipalities, he took time out from the schedule, and he went to the Elliott House, where he received a chocolate cake from our good friend and my constituent, Sister Hubbard there, who we have dubbed the Cake Lady. Brother Blaine, I said, if you can dub Yolanda the Queen of Media, I can dub the Cake Lady because of her brilliance in the kitchen, as Yolanda is in media. So we note that with our Acting Attorney General, and the NAACP has passed a resolution asking that the governor name him permanently as our Attorney General. I believe that he has worked successfully in criminal justice reform. Not that all the criminal justice reform has been done, but he's made a down payment on it. We believe that he has done some of the things that Attorney General Graywall started, and he's expanded that. Again, not that he's perfect, but he is moving in the right direction on equity and inclusion and diversity. And so we appreciate that. And also on diversity in general, as we move into 2022, that's going to be one of the things that we're talking about. Before I turn it over to our Queen of Radio and our co-host, let me just put in a announcement, ask you to circle the date for all of our listeners. January 17th is Martin Luther King Day. And as we are locked in a battle across this country for our democracy, as many of our citizens, our civil rights leaders, our social justice advocates, our community advocates are saying that we must have voting rights, that we need the John Lewis voting rights bill passed, that we need strengthening of people who would suppress our vote. We need barriers strengthened to stop people who want to suppress our vote and make it harder to vote. We're blessed here in New Jersey to have two senators, Senator Menendez and Senator Booker, who happen to have the distinction of being the only two US senators who are people of color in this country. And a lot of people don't realize that. You might say, well, what is the significance of that, President Shabazz? The significance of that is that these two men, because of their life experience and because of their intellectual foresight, understand the significance of voting rights, of social justice, of equity and inclusion. And we salute them. A lot of the problems that other states have with regard to voting, we don't have in New Jersey. Other states are making it harder to vote. In New Jersey, we're trying to make it easier to vote. And that's some of the things that the NAACP has been in the leadership of in the state, making the 88,000 people who are on probation able to vote, fighting and leading the fight to have early voting. And here in Atlantic City, we were loud and proud, as the young people say, in making sure that there was a early voting site in Atlantic City. And we're going to continue as we go forward to make sure that continues. Having said that, it's time as we move on in our December 21st edition of the program, next to the last program in the year. Next week is the last program. We're going to be honored to have our brother, John Harmon, who is the president and founder of the African American Chamber of New Jersey, doing great work in economic empowerment, economic dignity, and giving minority businesses a step up, a strong, credible voice for economic development. Brother Harmon will be our guest next week. But this week, the next to the last week, is our distinct and profound pleasure to turn it over for the next to the last time in 2021 to Yolanda Melville, Esquire, who has another award. I don't know if you know this, Brother Bland, but Yolanda is building an addition to her house to hold her plaques and her awards and her certificates and her citations. And we're so honored to have her, Yolanda Melville, Esquire, Vice President of the Atlantic City branch, our legal redress officer and president of the Next Gen Leadership cohort in the NAACP. Yolanda, good evening.
Good evening. I'm so glad to be with you all again for our second to last episode of the year. And last week you did task me with a very important job, and that's to provide a fact or a piece of information about Dr. King as we lead up to the MLK weekend. I do want to emphasize what you said earlier about the walk. We're encouraging people to come out. I know the last 2 years we have not been able to march together, but we are going to convene at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, January 17th of next year, and our walk begins at 9 a.m. We're convening at 1700 Marmora Avenue, which is the MLK School in Atlantic City. So please come out on Monday, January 17th, 2022 for our MLK walk. It is less than a month away. Unbelievable, but it's less than a month away. So we want to encourage everyone who can come out and march with us this year, 1700 Marmora Avenue. And then at 12 o'clock, we will start our MLK programming and then follow up with our radiothon that we actually started last year. So I'm looking forward to that. So this week's MLK fact is that Dr. King entered college at 15 years old. He was so gifted and so smart that he skipped grades 9 to 12. And he entered into Morehouse College in 1944, which was the alma mater of his father and his grandfather. Although he was the son, grandson, and great-grandson of a Baptist minister, they were all Baptist ministers. Dr. King never intended to become a Baptist minister, but it wasn't until he graduated and he met the Morehouse president, obviously, Benjamin E. Mays, who's a notable civil rights figure as well, and a theologian, he convinced Dr. King to pursue his career in theology, and that's where he ended up pursuing his really, which was his, I guess, his fate. He was ordained to be that, but he never wanted to be that, and he graduated from Morehouse College with a degree in sociology. So we salute Dr. King, but we want to also encourage our young people that if you are undecided about where you are in life, just listen to mentors and elders who see gifts in you and to pursue your dreams, and actually listen to those who have the wisdom to say to you, you know what, you would be great at such and such. But I also challenge you not to always listen to the naysayers of your life either, because someone may have something in your life or speak something on your life that may not be what you're supposed to be. Somebody might disencourage you to pursue something or not pursue something, and also take heed to that. So any comments on that fact of the week?
I didn't know. I knew Dr. King had went to Morehouse at 15. I did not know that he did not want to be a preacher. I did not know that he graduated with a degree in sociology. And I did not know that Benjamin E. Mays was very relevant and pivotal in his choice. So that's interesting. And not that I am that bright, but I think as we go forward, the rest of the weeks, your tips and your facts will enlighten people. And again, let me underscore again, January 17th, Monday, as Yolanda said, 8:30 a.m. in front of MLK. And we're going to start at 9. Here's Atlantic City fact that a lot of people might know, Yolanda. I think many people know that there is a civil rights garden in Atlantic City. And many people know that that's where the walk that NAACP does in Atlantic City ends, and we lay the wreath. I wonder how many people know that there's another bust of Martin Luther King in front of Pop Lloyd Stadium.
Not too many people. I remember you told me that, and I was surprised.
Yeah, so we're going to also have a memorial laying there at 8:45 before we start. Reverend Miller, who is our chaplain for the NAACP and our political action co-host, is going to lead that. We're going to have various religious leaders there to make very brief comments. We're going to do the wreath, and then 9 o'clock we're going to start, and then we're going to replicate the wreath ceremony at the Civil Rights Garden. So in Atlantic City, there are two gardens that deal with, not two gardens, two sites that deal with civil rights. So that's a fact. But thank you. Keep the Martin Luther King facts coming. I am amazed this time is moving so fast. In less than a month, it's going to be January 17th, Dr. King's birthday, and amazing. Also, I hope that they're going to be able to do it. A quick announcement: January the 15th, which is that Saturday, the library is going to have a reading about Martin Luther King, different speeches, and which I'm going to take part, and other people are going to take part. 2 o'clock at the Fannie Lou Hamer Room in the Atlantic City campus of Stockton. 2 o'clock on Saturday the 15th, and of course we will be following all CDC dictates in terms of social distancing, masks, and all that. And I just hope that we will be able to handle that, to have that scheduled though, 2 o'clock on Saturday. So the King activities are coming back. I just hope that everybody can be safe, and we can really focus on Dr. King and what we have to do right now in 2022 to advance that dream and fight against the forces that are not only blocking Dr. King's vision, but really blocking democracy with some of the things they want to do. So Yolanda, thank you for that. And back to you.
Absolutely. Yes, you did remind me. I received a call yesterday that I had been asked to be a reader at this year's January 15th reading for the Atlantic City Library. So I believe, a little birdie must have told me that baby had something to do with that. But I am honored. I am honored to be a reader. Yeah. And what I understand the program is about is that you read a portion of Dr. King's speech to young people. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Yeah. And it's always, it's heartwarming. I've been doing it for several years. And each year that I do it, it becomes more moving. And there's always young people. I think the last couple of years, the Lang City Choir has been there, and these youngsters are really good singers, and people from the community coming. It's really good, and it's really good to have it in the Faneuil Hamer room. The significance of that is just overwhelming. So I'm looking forward to it. Saturday, January 15th. And listen, I must be in good company, Alex, if the queen of media is a reader. So we're in good shape. So we encourage all of our readers, all of our listeners who can to please attend.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I just want to close on my announcements by making the announcements that I do every week, but they are just as important. This is the holiday season. If you're thinking about a gift that you want to give others, consider the gift of membership to the NAACP and the historic work that we are continuing to do. This has been an organization that continues to be relevant, as we discussed a few seconds ago. The importance of civil rights is now. And it's not just a Dr. King event. It's not just thinking about Faneuil Hamer. It's really thinking about the future. And we all have a stake in that. So please consider a membership to the NAACP. You can do that by sending your name, address, email address, and phone number to Atlantic City NAACP, P.O. Box 1182, Atlantic, New Jersey. Or you can go on the NAACP.org, type 08401 under the Become a Member or Join NAACP button. And we are branch number 2077B, which is the Atlantic City branch, and it's the adult branch. And a one-year membership to the Atlantic City NAACP is $30. We do have youth memberships available, however, and those are $10. So if you have someone who is a young person who wants to get more involved in the community, specifically around civil rights in the NAACP, join us as we get ready for the 2022 National Convention, which is the 113th National Convention, which will be right here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I also want to emphasize the importance of voting, because I want everyone to know that next year is the midterms. And the midterms is the halfway point of a presidential year, but it's also a very important time to our congressional seats and to a lot of national seats across the country. So we want to make sure that people know that it's an important year to vote next year as well. So we want to make sure that everyone here in New Jersey knows how to vote. How do I register? You can register or be eligible to register as a United States citizen. You have to be at least 17 years old at the time of registration, but you have to be 18 when you vote. You have to be a resident of the county for at least 30 days. And so long as you or someone you may know is not incarcerated, but you're sure you may have a condition of parole or probation, you can still register to vote here in New Jersey. You can do so online. And there's a lot of buzz around possibly doing same-day voting in the legislature. We have now opportunities for early voting in New Jersey. So there's an abundance of ways on how to vote once the elections come. But in order to register to vote, you can do so online here in New Jersey. And you can do so if you or someone you may know is on probation or parole. So with that, I turn it over to the esteemed Alexander Bland. And I just want to thank you. As I was going through the list of guests this year, it helped me understand and underpin the importance of your presence, because you've been here for mostly all of our shows. And I want to thank you for your contributions this year. And it's been so appreciated. And it's sobering sometimes based on what you hear in the community on why people are not getting vaccinated, or what they may think is true, but it's not true. But so you are a sounding board for the community, and you are an important addition to this program. So thank you for all that you do.
Absolutely.
Wow, thank you. I'm in a loss of words, but thank you. That's all I can say. But yeah, so I'll be out in the open. Last week I got the coronavirus. And it's just important, I knew how important it was, but even more, it's important for people to just be safe and get vaccinated. You just should get vaccinated for the people around you. You got to care for the people around you, the people that you might not know. We have a surge in Jersey. I don't know. Well, maybe all over. I imagine it's all over. specifically the United States. I don't know if it's because of the holidays, but we just gotta stay protected. We gotta wear a mask. We gotta show social distance when we can. And I'll be honest, I didn't take, like, with Thanksgiving, I didn't take that too serious. But maybe we should try to keep 6 people at a minimum in our house, during the holidays, some type of way. I know we love each other and we miss each other, but we have Zoom. So because the schools is outbreaks in all the schools. My daughter's school had an outbreak. That's probably how I got it. But yeah, even if you got your vaccine, please get the booster shot. I didn't get the booster shot yet. The week I was supposed to get it last week, but then I ended up getting the virus. So but I was talking to the health department and they told me now that I got the virus, once I get the booster, my immune system is going to be, so high.
Very high.
That's the only plus. Yeah, so just please get the vaccine, care for people. All year I've been going over Mythbusters. It doesn't change your DNA. You won't grow an elbow out of your head. You can get it if you're pregnant. You can get it. You definitely should get it if you have any if you have a suppressed immune system. In fact, once you should get a third shot too. And I went over that too, a third shot and a booster. So please just be safe out there for these holidays. I still got it. You can hear it in my voice that, I'm still a little stuffy, but I tested negative, so I know I'm good. So, but yeah, just be safe. It's real. It's real. It's not a game. It's not a hoax to try to manipulate you. All the conspiracy. Y'all heard it all too. Y'all heard everything in the book. This is real, and if you're not being safe, then it could get you in a bad way. So maybe if I didn't get the vaccine, it would have got me a lot worse than it got me. The symptoms I had was, my body was weak. I had a fever. I even lost my smell. I didn't have a sore throat, but the kids, one of my daughters did have a sore throat. So please just be safe, and if you do get it, just do comfort measures. There's no cure, take Tylenol if you need to, whatever you can take. Take cough medicine, get plenty of rest, drink plenty of fluids, try to get some iron in your system, some zinc in your system. There's a lot you can do, just for comfort measures, but getting a vaccine, it does decrease the contagious level. So you can still catch it if you get the vaccine, and that's what we need people to understand. You can still catch it. So I don't want to hear reports about, well, so-and-so got it and they got the vaccine. You can still get it, but it's about keeping yourself safe and your family safe. So, that's it.
Thank you very much, Brother Bland, for that. And we pray for your family's well-being and your well-being. And I think there's an object lesson there. Get your booster. Shot. Your booster helps increase your ability to fight off this virus. And as you said, if you do get it, your symptoms will be milder and it should not result in hospitalization or death. So this is, as the young people say, this is really real, not just real, really real. So we thank you. As Yolanda said, you've been a blessing to this program and you have made a big contribution. And just what you shared with us today, what you didn't have to share, I think is going to help people. And maybe that's one of the things we can do for next year. I got some people in mind. I won't call their names, but if they're comfortable, maybe we can interview them or have them tell their story of people in their family who did not believe that the virus was real, who didn't take precautions, and unfortunately they passed away. But of course, we wouldn't use those people's name without their permission, and we'll see if we can work that out. Yolanda, before we continue, let me just say this about membership. We appreciate everyone's membership. As you said, membership is $30, and we thank everyone who joined or has renewed, and we encourage people, if they can, if they're economically able, if your membership is up, please renew. If you haven't joined, please join. But we just wanted to highlight some people who have made significant membership contributions, and that is through Life membership, the first group of people, and a Life membership is either $750 or I believe it's $1,500 is a Life membership, and you can pay them in installments. And Dr. John Regis and his wife Celeste Regis had purchased a Life membership, and we thank both of them for their purchase of the Life membership, and we appreciate that and acknowledge that. And also in that same Life membership category is Assemblyman-elect Don Guardian for Life membership, and we appreciate that. And just to close that section out, we have some people who have purchased multi-year leadership memberships. What does that mean? Since a year goes by so fast, people sometimes don't realize that their membership has lapsed, and they get a reminder, then they pay. But what our secretary has done, and we're going to have her hopefully come on in 2022, is ask some people if they're comfortable and if they're economically equipped to pay multi-years, which means they don't have to worry about every year their membership being done. And in that vein, we wanted to salute and thank Mayor Small, Councilperson-elect Stephanie Marshall, and Councilperson-elect Bruce Weeks, who paid for 4 years of membership individually. And we thank them for that, for their membership. So we thank the people who pay multi-memberships. We thank the people who have purchased Life memberships. And we can't read all of the people who have purchased memberships because that's too many. But we thank all of them, and we just ask you to think about that going forward. If it is easier for you, and if you're again economically able, and you want to pay for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, as Councilperson-elect Stephanie Marshall, Councilperson-elect Bruce Weeks, and Mayor Small did, then we encourage you to do that. NAACP is a membership organization, and we encourage people to be members. And in that same vein, Yolanda, I just want our members to know I am preparing my year-end report to sort of summarize some of the things that we've done for 2021, and hopefully give them a vision of what we want to do, God willing, for 2022. And like you said, we are constantly underscoring the fact that we're going to have a national convention here, July of 2022, and we want people to get ready. I want to salute Yolanda Austin and Corey Young, who are heading up our special youth committee. And what is that? Our special youth committee, we're focusing on getting young people from the local area involved. There's going to be young people coming from all over the country, from NAACP youth councils from across this nation. But we want to make sure that young people in this area are able to interact with them, to see what's going on in the convention, to see the speakers, and to just be a part of this historic occasion. So Yolanda Austin and Corey Young, our members, are putting together an effort to attract 300 young people. So if someone wants to donate to that, they can donate to the number that Yolanda gave. And also on January 17th, we're going to have our radiothon, which is also going to help us to cover our operating expenses. As Yolanda said, we're going to put a heavy emphasis on voter registration for 2022. It is the midterms coming up. That's very, very important. And again, we have local elections. I think you said every week, Yolanda, it's election every year. 2022 is going to be, again, state senate elections, state assembly elections, and commissioner elections. So we encourage people to get registered if they're not registered. And if they are registered, to pay attention. We're going to have educational voter educational activities as we go forward. NAACP does not endorse candidates. We don't endorse candidates, but we do encourage people to vote. We plan again to have our 2 candidates nights. We have one before the primary of 2022 and one before the general election of 2022. Also, Congress is going to be up for elections, so that's important. Having said that, Yolanda, I guess we're ready to go into our 5 o'clock hour.
We are.
Half hour. Yeah.
Half hour. This is a special edition of our radio show where we are going to recap for the audience the memorable moments of this year's NAACP Speaks. And we've had a lot of different guests come on, and I was looking at the list earlier today and realized that so many of them are members of our branch. Mm-hmm. So this is so important that we not only uplift the work that they do, but also reinforce the importance of membership. And I'm looking at half the list, and half the list belongs to our branch, or even those who may not be part of our branch locally are members of the the NAACP New Jersey State Conference. Mm-hmm. So that is a kudos to you, President, on your leadership, but also to the importance of the organization as a whole. They can come on to our radio show and talk about the importance of their jobs. They're pouring back into the organization as well. So with that, the first question I have for you and Alex for our edition of the recap would be, what are some of your memorable moments from this year's past guests?
I'll defer to Alex's story.
Well, I remember I was starstruck when we had the Lieutenant Governor on, and we had First Lady Tammy Murphy on. I remember I was a little nervous, but I got a lot of screenshots that day. Christine Ivory, she's always a pleasure, and she's very knowledgeable in that field of maternal health. Dr. Witherspoon, I can hear her talk forever. Maisha Aziz, who's also a queen. I'm so intimidated by her, but she's always a pleasure to listen to, So those are people that stick out in my mind. But I remember a moment. I let everybody talk first. I don't want to. They might have stuff. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now I just remember when like the George Floyd verdict was out and we were on live. Mm-hmm. I remember that. There's a lot of memorable moments and a lot of memorable guests, but those are people that stick out in my mind, and so that's
Queen of Radio. I'll go last.
And that actually brings me to a memorable moment as well. We were the first to announce last year about Kamala Harris, I believe, being selected as the running mate. I know that wasn't this year specifically, but here we are into the presidency of President Obama and President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and how that is so important to the history. But you're right, being on air when memorable things happen is also important to why we do what we do, and we're not thinking. And I believe on that episode, we had a very distinguished member of law enforcement on the line with us, Alex, that day when the George Floyd verdict came out. I think it was Major. I can see her face.
Oh yeah, Carla Thomas.
That's right. Yeah, and she was here to give her, that's right, her thoughts, her immediate thoughts about what she thought about the verdict and thought about law enforcement and being a Black woman in her position. So it was memorable. Other memorable times, I always love hearing from the young people and just looking at them and thinking about when I was their age and how I didn't have a breath of their energy, the excitement, the confidence that they have, and how I would love to jar that up and give that to so many other young people around the country and show them that you can be this too. And from authors to CEOs of companies, and they are just 14 and 15 years old, to distinguished speakers, to those who've spoken on the legislative floor about important issues in the community around policing and voting. I love every minute of it, but I particularly just love getting to know the community leaders that we have here locally better. So whether it was Stephanie Koch at the Boys and Girls Club, or Ren Parikh and Roger Green at Ideal Institute, or Dr. Gaba when she came on, and the zest that she had for the work that she does, Dr. Regis, all of these people who do the work of our day-to-day community and make the community go round. Atlanta Care being one of our largest employers here in the area. We had Sharif Pfizer on, and we had the members of the Atlanta Care Life Connection. Those moments, those 30 minutes of an interview with them make the difference, and me just getting to know them a little bit better. And so that's what I have for memorable moments and memorable shows. But everybody, thank you for your time with us. And also shout out to Sandy Harvey at NAACP, because I'm showing my age, but she's the bomb. President, I'll turn it over to you.
Right. I just wanted to shout out Melissa Fox from Ascenda, who one of our healthcare professionals, Linda Flake, another healthcare professional, Laverne Sanders, another healthcare professional. We've had some dynamic men, but some dynamic women who have been on this show the past year. Helen Keokis, who's our political co-chair, political action co-chair. All the segments were memorable to me because Brother Bland, I have been mistreated in all the segments with far as the guests. So it's been a whole year of mistreatment. But seriously, Mandy Days Chapman, who's done outstanding work. And let me just give ourselves a pat on the back. The Atlantic City branch, we pioneered the task force, skip my mind, task force for maternity and infant mortality, that question, which is a burning question all over the country, really. I heard the vice president talking about it the other day on TV, but right here in this area, we did it in Atlantic County, we kicked it off, and now Essex County took it up, and then Camden County recently took it up, and I think other counties. So that's pioneering work that we have done, and I'm so proud of Mandy Chapman Days, who is the chair of that, and all of the people on that task force. I won't start calling their names because I'll leave somebody out, but I wanted to say that's been memorable. They were on the program, and I associate myself with your remarks, Yolanda, with regard to the young people. The young people were so poised and focused. I mean, I just thought back to when I was in college. In college, I was more verbose, and probably in high school too, but these youngsters, they give you hope for the future, because not only are they're young and they're focused and they're intelligent, they have energy, and they're with Maisha Aziz, who's a force of nature. Maisha Aziz has energy to burn. And we've been fortunate. We've had some outstanding guests. Dr. Washington, who's no longer with us, but he was very, very instrumental in getting our health concerns up and running and regular. And I'm still doing the regimen that he said, the zinc, the turmeric, the vitamins every morning. He gave us great information. And of course, Dr. Cupanini, who has been so faithful. I think that's an important part of what we do because of this pandemic and because of the health disparities. I think we still have to keep focusing on that. We're not finished with the pandemic, unfortunately, but those are memorable to me, the medical, and of course, all of our governmental people, as Alex said, the Lieutenant Governor, First Lady, and also the Governor, who was so gracious to come on. Governor Murphy's been our guest a couple of times, and we have really been, I think, fortunate to have excellent guests. Senator Ron Rice, who is one of the longest serving senators in the Senate period, and the longest serving African-American senator, a strong fighter for civil rights and social justice. And he was our guest, and it's been an exciting year. It's been an interesting year. It's been an informative year. And I think we have to keep on keeping on, as the saying goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll get to more memories, I'm sure, with the next couple of questions. So, President, where do you envision the program going over the next two? Oh, no. Well, I guess the question is, did you envision it going 2 years? And where do you envision it going in the future?
You know what? I certainly didn't. A friend of mine, Canada Jackie, who was on, was a very energetic guest too, was talking about how much she enjoyed the program. And I don't know, when we first started this program, it doesn't seem like it's been 2 years ago, but when we first started this program, the Tuesday after Dr. King's celebration, I don't know what I had in mind. I just knew that we needed to have an instrument on a regular basis that we could speak to the public, that we could talk about what the NAACP does, that we could focus on civil rights and social justice. And I think it sort of took a life of its own, because we started out for a half hour. Then Brother Hawks was able to allow us to have an hour. And we just, it's just grown and multiplied. And I think it shows the power of communication and the power of information. And in fact, we see the power of disinformation, unfortunately, with the virus, but the power of information. And I kiddingly talk about Yolanda's audience, but people listen. I guess I'm pleasantly surprised. I see people when I'm in the supermarket or walking in my district or any place, in meetings, people listen and they talk about the guests and the questions. And I think maybe that's something we need to probably incorporate, take questions from people, not live on the air, but as we go around, and Brother Bland is a good example of that. And he's really doing that, because he's answering questions and concerns when he does his Mythbusters. And that's really audience participation, because people telling this, I shouldn't say crazy stuff, but people telling this stuff that is not grounded in reality, that's not grounded in truth, that's not grounded in facts. And he brings that to the program to give correct information. And so I think that the program has really grown beyond what I thought it was, and I only see better things. But my thought was just to really, I don't even know if I was thinking about a weekly program when we first started, but we're weekly now. So I think it has even more greater potential. And one more, let me say about Reverend Roy Jones was a very memorable program to me for a couple of reasons. First of all, he's a longtime friend. He's a Lang City native, even though he's in the Camden area now. But when he talked about that pile of toxic waste in the middle of a neighborhood in Camden, that really got to me. And I realized on intellectual level, a public policy level, we have climate change and we have environmental issues, but to see just Camden, which is only 50 miles away, to have that in a residential neighborhood, that just spoke to me. And we've had him on as follow-up several times. I think he has to be one of our 2022 guests, because we cannot allow, when I say we, I'm talking about not only NAACP, people of conscience, people of faith, people of just want to see right. How can that exist in 2022 in New Jersey, in the middle of a residential neighborhood? So that really fired me up. That and the young people, all the guests in general, but slightly above that, the young people, Reverend Jones, our government officials, as you said, Yolanda, community leaders, our outstanding women that we have. I think we're going to have to do something special for Women's History Month, because we have some outstanding women of all ethnic groups, all religious groups in this area who are doing great things. My only down side of that is the women on this show, the co-producer, constantly slants the total of guests. No, we have to to do that. And we have to acknowledge the outstanding people we have in Atlantic City and the Atlantic City area. That's a long answer, but that's my answer.
No, that was a great answer. That was a great answer. Alex, I'll turn it over to you next. I know you didn't start with us at the beginning of our 2-year journey, but you've been with us for a very long time at this point. You also had your own show that you would also broadcast on Instagram. So what did you envision about the program, and what do you envision for the future?
I remember my first time on the show, I believe. I think it was with Tyree Robinson and Irv.
Right.
And you know, I used to always watch you guys, you know. So I was like, oh yeah, I do it. And I did the show, I believe it was like a 2-parter. So we did 1 week and then another week. And I think I didn't come a week or something like that. And I remember President Shabazz called me like, hey man, we missed you last week. I'm like, oh, y'all wanted me on last week? He's like, yeah, we need you to talk about, you know, some youth stuff. So that was like the birth of it. You know, I kind of became like a third party, a third host, I guess. So did I envision it? You know, I was watching the show every week. So, you know, absolutely. I was always entertained. I was always informed. And you know, it was a great show. And I hope I'm around for the next 2 years as well. You know, as long as y'all have me, I'm here.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I think for me, the importance, I did envision it going 2 years because we knew that the national convention was coming here. So I thought this would be a great way for us to get to know the community, but also us to talk about the important work of the organization and also get ready for the 2022 convention. So I did see us here, but I guess what I didn't see was that has been, whether we realize it or not, a time capsule of the pandemic. We started it right around the pandemic beginning, and now we've continued on throughout the process. So we will always have this recording of us interviewing guests who are still doing things, still doing the work of the community, even though we're in the middle of a global crisis. So that has been, whether we acknowledge it as an important civil rights issue, it has been important because it's giving the power of communication, like President Shabazz mentioned, and also the power of discommunication, and having to dispel that while people are disconnected in some other way that we are all not able to control. So I don't think about that on the everyday basis, but this question made me think about that and how we have been a conduit for other people. And I don't have the distinction of being, you know, nationally, statewide, and locally known as our president here. I'm not on the front page of the press every week, but I do. I do come across people in conversation who I'm talking to them, and then they realize who I am and say, oh, I listened to your show. I've had my own clients listen to the show. So there are tangibles that come from not expecting people to know you that in this realm. And I always say that my love is the law and I do the law, but my passion is civil rights. So I'm even more passionate about the work we do. The importance of what we say, how we say it, and how we present it to the public is so important. So I did envision coming here before a different purpose, but now that we're here, I see how much more important that purpose was and how, I guess, ordained we were, you and I, President, to do this together. And so I look forward to the future and whatever that brings, whether we go back into the studio, whether we continue to do this virtually. But we also learned how to work Zoom through the radio show. It gave us a lot of practice.
Listen,
so, yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day, if I had money, I would have invested in Zoom and I'd be comfortable today. In fact, we all would have been. Who would have thought that the Zoom would have been such an important part, not only of our radio program, law practice, religious services, everything. And I believe this. I don't know how both of y'all feel. Whenever we get this virus under control somewhat, we're not going to eliminate it, we get under control. I don't think we're ever going to go back to how we were before totally. I think Zoom is going to be part of what we do. Virtual is going to be part of what we do. It might be hybrid, but I think we've sort of turned the corner on how our society moves. Now, I think the other thing is we have to really focus on the equity and the disparity issues. I think that this virus, it didn't create it, but it's made it more of a talking point. I think it's heightened people's awareness that we have to close these gaps in our society to move forward. And we have to work on healthcare, and we have to work on economic empowerment, and we have to work on the educational gaps in our schools. All these things are shows me, as I think you said, Yolanda, the NAACP is relevant, and as Brother Bland said, we need to keep pushing. We have a lot to do, and I think this and that's one of the reasons I'm so encouraged by our show. It gives us a voice, it gives us a chance to reflect, and it gives us a chance to measure what we're doing and what we have yet to do. I don't think that we can rest on our laurels. I feel fairly good in what we accomplished last year. I feel good about the convention coming here. And also, to let me put in a quick plug for our Freedom Fund breakfast. And we'll have Rosie Segura, our very active and efficient chair, on going forward for Saturday, April 30th. And I know some people, they're not organized like you are, Yolanda. I know people were talking about what they're going to do for the summer already. They got their vacation planned and all that. I'm not that organized, but for those people who are looking, April 30th is a Saturday, last Saturday in April, 8:30 a.m. at Hard Rock. We're going to have our Freedom Fund breakfast, and we're hoping and praying that we can have it this year. We had to postpone it last year because of the virus. We're going to honor all the people that we had already previously selected to be honorees, and we're happy to confirm the dynamic Reverend Buster Soares, who's the former Secretary of State in New Jersey, is going to be our keynote speaker. He's confirmed again, and it should be a very good time. Now, hopefully it'll be spring, and hopefully we will have got people vaccinated, boosted, and moving forward on this, because we just can't keep moving forward and making progress unless we can somehow get control of this virus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So the next question is, do you have a moment that was particularly funny that you want to highlight from our program? Alex?
I remember when I was trying to find my way around the show, trying to find my place and what I could be, and I tried the woke news thing, and you know, it was a good idea, but you know, I wanted the way to try to talk to the youth, but you know, it's only one way to talk to, not even the youth, you know, the young adults, and you know, it's only one way, and it's just be honest and be upfront. You know, it's not a gimmick behind it. Andrew, our Attorney General, Andrew Bruck, he's always excited. You know, every time he's on, you know, he has a big smile and he brightens up the whole thing. And, you know, I know it was a couple of times where I said some funny stuff, some stuff I could probably take back, but, you know, that's really it. You know, it's always a laughing moment on the show.
Right.
Definitely. I think that's what I want to say. I think we're always laughing, and that's important, because you can talk about serious topics, but you can also do it in a way that gives life to it, in a way that you're not making fun of the issues, but you enjoy your company. And I enjoy each and every one of you, and that comes through in the conversations that we have, that we can joke. And that still goes back to the disconnect of the pandemic. So even though we're all in different places, we're still able to laugh and joke on each other. And I don't know, the president still makes it on the front page of Atlantic City Press, but somehow he still makes it out there. The rest of us, we have to relegate ourselves to Zoom. But we it's fun to do the show with you all. But there's no funny moment. I think we all goof though. Yeah. Alex, I think we all say things that we probably wish we could take back.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, if you don't make a mistake, that means you're not doing anything. But I think a couple of funny moments is I find it funny how Yolanda can come up with interesting things to make the guest her guest. Like the first lady, I said, well, isn't that my guest because I invited her? And Yolanda said, no, because she's from Virginia Beach. I said, oh my goodness. And then when we had Attorney General Greatwall, I said, well, isn't he my guest? somebody, and she said, no, because we went to the same law school. And she just comes up with things, and people like that. And they know it's only in jest that all the guests are the show's guests, and we work together in a collaborative effort, a partnership to have good guests and to make the show interesting. That's the goal, to make the show interesting, to make the show informative, to give people good information, and to let people know that the NAACP is not just talking, that we're doing things that make sense and that are needed. That's why we say NAACP speaks. So I think we've had some good moments, and it's good that we can enjoy each other's company and laugh, even if sometimes I'm the victim.
You know, no, you're never the victim.
Right.
You know what's funny sometimes though? It's funny when there are guests who don't know that we're joking with each other. So the first 5 seconds they're on the show, they're like, are they serious? Are they really fighting over me right now?
So am I on the wrong show, huh?
They realize that we're joking. And so it's always fun afterwards, but it's a way also to get them to be more comfortable too, so they can stop being so nervous. They see us laughing. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, like Alexander says, I'm a public speaker. I'm on council. I'm always before audiences, so I'm really not nervous to the extent that other people are. I'm nervous in that I want to make sure that my presentation makes sense, is rational, all that kind of stuff. But people who don't do this, even if they are professional, it is kind of daunting, even though it's not a live audience, to tell us people, you know, you're live on the air. It's a live audience, but you don't see people. So it is something. So I agree with you, Yolanda. What we do is to make them feel comfortable. Icebreaker is a technique. And for people who are really, I've talked to people, you'd be surprised, who are professional people. And I say, we want you to come on the radio. They say, oh, Kaleem, I don't know about that. You say, for how long? And they're petrified, and they are capable, competent, professional people, and also community people who they might talk in the barbershop or the beauty parlor or on the bus at home, and they're loquacious and they go on and on. But you say, get on a program, and they freeze up. So I think it's important that we do that, and it's, how we do it is key. And I think we've struck a good balance.
Absolutely. We have a few more minutes left. We actually have about 2 minutes left in the show. Give us, President, some of your goals for the program next year. Okay.
Before I do that, let me say real quickly, happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas. Christmas is the 25th. Kwanzaa starts on the 26th. Happy Kwanzaa. To our Hispanic friends, happy Three Kings Day. Three Kings Day is in January. I want to say one of the things I want to do for 2022, and we want to talk about this, we'll kick this around offline, is maybe have certain days every couple of months for young people to be on. I think that's important. Although Alex is our bridge to young people, to have young people on, like Maisha had, and I reach out to Mandy for some Atlantic City youth. I think that's crucial, that we not only focus on young people, give them a chance to express themselves. I think that's important. Voter education is going to be very important for 2022. Health is going to be critical. Dr. Regis is going to be the health chairman for the Atlantic City branch, and we thank him. I think we're going to have to utilize him along with Dr. Cupanini again. Health is going to be an issue. Maternal and infant mortality. The Atlantic Care expansion is coming on. That's going to be an anchor here in Atlantic City. I think we need to have Lori Harrington on again, and to give us an update on where they're going. Susan Garrett, who works in there again, and of course, Mandy. So I think those areas of concern, economic development, I think we need to work on that. There's a lot of things happening in Atlantic City and the area, and we have to make sure that our people, when I say our people, I'm talking about people of color, particularly all people are people, but people of color, we have to make sure that their economic level rises. and education. So I see all of those, the action goals for the NAACP. I think we have to expand and keep on pushing in them in 2022. And of course, the convention.
Absolutely. So I just want to take a moment, last minute, to thank Assemblyman Armato, Assemblyman Mazzio, Candace Day Chapman, who is actually our new high school principal, Attorney General Graywall, outgoing First Lady Tammy Murphy, Dr. Regis, Rem Parikh, Roger Green, Sharice Pfizer, Dr. Gavin from Atlantic Cape Community College, Dr. Thelma Witherspoon, Stephanie Coach from the Boys and Girls Club, Sandy Harvey from Mead AC, Melissa Parks from Ascenda Health, Jill Ozerkis from Cooper Levinson, Miriam Sorhan, who is community organizer, Linda Flake from South Jersey Family Medical Centers, Laverne Saunders, Reverend Stafford Miller, Helen Keokis, Dr. Washington, Victor Moreno from ACCC, Reverend Collins A. Days from Second Baptist Church, Lauren O'Brien and Alyssa Jewell, who are environmental justice change makers here in New Jersey, Cancer Jackie Maneker, Dr. Peter Kupin, Lieutenant Governor Jill Oliver, Brandon Dixon from Tower Investments, Henrietta Shelton from Chicken Bone Beach Historical Society, Maisha Aziz, Attorney at Law, Acting Attorney General Andrew Bruck, Rebecca Mena, the Public Information Officer from the City of Atlantic City, Minister Jones, Kennedy Event, Jafari Wells, the young people that we talked about, Yolanda Austin and her young people, Jeremiah Wright and Dennis Badge Jr., Dr. Harvey Kesselman from Stockton University, Amber Hamlet from Hamlet Consultant, Devon McCurry from Orsted, myself as a guest, Dr. Devin McKenzie from Atlantic Care, Bernie Brown from the Majestic Entertainment Group, Brian K. Jackson from Stockton, the COO of Atlantic City Campus, Acting Attorney General Bruck again, who was a guest, Michael DiBiase from Atlantic Care Life Connection, as well as Aaron Williams, social worker from Atlantic Care Life Connection, Christine Ivory, Ryan Bates from the Camden County Eats Youth Council, Siddharth Satish, Isaiah John Baptiste, Kevin Bernard, Brandon Taylor, all young people in New Jersey, Annie B. Augustin, President of the Atlantic City Chapter of the Links Incorporated, and an author, as well as next week's guest, John Harmon, President and CEO of the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey. So thank you for being our guest this year.
Okay, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you so much for listening to the December 21st edition of your NAACP Speaks. Please get your booster if you haven't, get your second shot if you haven't, get your first shot if you haven't, get your flu shot, wear your mask, social distance, and wash your hands. See you next week.